Hello everyone, my name is Holden Hardman. Thank you so much for joining us again for another video. Today we're going back a little bit with A Quiet Place. It's one that Jen and I have been putting off watching together for a while, mostly because we want to see A Quiet Place 2, which we're going to go see later today. So a review for you for A Quiet Place 2 will be out tomorrow. We have seen Bird Box together, and I know that A Quiet Place and Bird Box are kind of compared. From what I understand, the book for Bird Box was first, but the movie for A Quiet Place was before the movie for Bird Box. John Krasinski stars and directs. He's Jim from The Office, and his real-life spouse, Emily Blunt, is in it. So I've seen it. I'll hold off some of my thoughts. What do you think going in?
I have heard a lot of people talk about this movie, mainly how good it is. I really liked Bird Box. I don't know how this movie differs from that or how it's similar to it. I'm really curious. I don't know anything about the movie. I do know that it has something to do with I think senses, either hearing or basically along the lines of Bird Box. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Horror movies, I love, but usually I go into them knowing like what it's about. This one, I really just don't know what the storyline is at all. So, but I'm also excited to see the second one. So hopefully this one's good because it'll really suck if I hate this movie and I'm going to see a follow-up to it. Yeah, we'll see.
We're just going to be doing a review of A Quiet Place 2 because it's not out currently for home release for us to do a reaction for it yet. So hopefully you'll enjoy seeing that tomorrow. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. A Quiet Place. I don't even know what it's like to watch a movie that's only an hour and a half.
I know. Is there any MCU movies that want 2 hours?
Oh, God, bless my heart. Oh, God. Oh, I hate this table. I've always hated it. Just finished A Quiet Place. I'd only seen this once in theaters when it first came out, and I remember really liking it a lot. What did you think?
I really, really like this movie. You're right. It's not really a horror movie, more of a thriller, but
Suspense, yeah.
It was really, really good. I loved that the entire movie, there really wasn't a lot of talking. You almost have to like hone in on just like their facial reactions and just the vibe that they send off. My favorite thing about the movie was the relationships, the way that they highlighted the lengths they would go to protect their kids. Especially the father. He was, to me, from the start, very much like, I know there's a chance that I may die protecting my kids. If that has to happen, it'll happen. The mom is freaking superhero right there. She gave birth, stepped on what can only assume is a dirty, nasty nail. She also has to try and keep her newborn quiet while probably being dehydrated. And then she has to take on the main role as parent to the other 2 children. Props to her. I really liked the relationship between the brother and sister. That was so heart-wrenching. Every scene that they had together was just like, oh. And then I also liked the relationship between the husband and wife. I don't know any of these people's like character names. I don't know if they said them.
No, they didn't.
But I really like those relationships. They spent quite a lot of time, I feel like, focusing on those, especially like the scene between the brother and sister when they get like stuck in the corn thing. So it was, oh gosh, I almost started crying when like the father realized, crap, I'm gonna have to die because there's no way all of us are gonna survive. So he sacrificed himself and, you know, he was telling his daughter, I love you, I've always loved you. Oh, that was such, whew, they did very, very good on pulling those heartstrings. Very suspenseful. I don't know what these creatures are. I wish they would have like explained a little more. I don't exactly know how, but all I know is that they don't like noises or they're attracted to noise. I haven't figured that out yet. It's definitely different from Bird Box. I thought that it was good. I really, really liked Bird Box, but this is up there too. I'm super anxious to see what the second one is about because Obviously, hubby has passed away, or at least I think so. That'd be really cool if they he survived somehow. This is how you know I've been watching the MCU too long.
Doctor Strange will open up a portal and it'll be him coming out.
I hope the second one is as good. They have figured out that there's some kind of interference that they can use as an advantage, basically. So I am curious to see how they're gonna move forward with that information. It was very, very good. I enjoyed it a lot.
This movie made me respect John Krasinski so much because most of his career, what he's mostly known for is being Jim on The Office, which is like comedy, kind of a goofball sort of character. And then for him to direct, co-write, and star in this sort of suspense thriller movie, and then do such a great job at it, it's really awesome. He's also now Jack Ryan, which is an Amazon series, like an action star thing. I haven't seen it, but the way that they handled the movie with limited talking, very minimal, and able to tell a story that we can understand and follow. We understand the relationship between the daughter and the father, and how he probably did have some resentment for her giving the little boy back the rocket ship or whatever, because it was very clear to the other son that, Dad, you don't ever tell the girl that you love her, and he's like, well, I do love her, and so all of that family drama and relationship without any exposition, without any talking, is cinema. It's fantastic. Speaking of which, the performances across the board were great. Mm-hmm. John Krasinski, Emily Blunt, I don't remember the two kids' names, but the boy especially. When I watched it this time, I think the girl kind of gets most of the praise when it comes to performances. But honestly, the boy did amazing.
Specifically for me, the scene where the boy is holding the newborn, you could see in his face that he was terrified. And he did such a good job. Another thing that I liked about this movie was it did a really good job of making you think, well, what the heck would I do in that situation? Yeah. If your two kids were about to be attacked, it makes you think, it makes you put yourself in their position. You made a very good point. All of them did really, really good at just making you feel what they're feeling. Yeah, I definitely felt that a lot. Very good acting.
If I'm not mistaken, the girl is actually deaf in real life. I don't know if it was groundbreaking for Hollywood, but they made a pretty big deal about casting a deaf girl. So that's cool. Low budget overall, relatively low budget film. Surprise hit, did very, very well, which is why they justified making a sequel to it. I don't really get the monsters fully. I know that they're attracted to the sound and they use sound primarily. I made a couple of comments while we were watching just about using the sonar. I feel like the sound attracts them, but once they're there, they make that clicking sound like bats do. And so whether the people are sitting and being really, really quiet, it really shouldn't matter. Once the monsters are there doing their clicking thing, they should be able to detect them and kill them or eat them or whatever it is that they do. It's been over a year and a half. I feel like the weakness is kind of obvious. I don't know. These are creatures that are heightened with sound. I feel like very loud or really high pitched frequency would affect them in that way. So I don't know why the military failed. I don't know. But at the same time, I get that the story is trying to put us in with this family. So we don't know where the monsters came from. We don't know what's happening on the outside world. We're just with them. And that's cool too. I don't mind that standpoint, but I just wonder stuff like that. And maybe in the sequel, we'll get some answers to some of that.
I feel like that's the one negative for me about this movie was I like the origin story. I like to know, where did they come from? How did this happen? How did this family end up in this predicament? I wish I would have known a little more, and maybe they'll touch on it on the sequel. I don't know, but I would have liked to know what went down to either create these or why they decided to pop up now. I wish they would have touched on that a little bit, but that's my only negative for this movie.
I hear what you're saying. I do think that it's more realistic for them to not know. You saw the newspaper things with people guessing, figuring out that sound was a thing in the paper. So I feel like if it was real life and creatures just showed up, we probably wouldn't know. I get it, as the audience, we would like to know, but throw us in there with just the regular people. Anyway, what would you rate this one?
I really, really like this. I would probably rate it a 8.5.
I think that this was great. I'm going to go just a little lower. I'm going to do it an 8. I think this was a great movie. We're going to do this sequel. We're going to go actually watch it right now in theaters. So we're going to post a review tomorrow. So it's just going to be a review, not a watch along. So hopefully you'll stick around for that and enjoy it. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Comment down below letting us know what you thought of A Quiet Place and what you thought of some of our opinions. Subscribe if you want to see more fun content like this. Consider joining my Patreon to get early access to select videos. As always, Jen and I, we appreciate you watching. We'll catch you. What do I normally say? We'll catch you
in the next video.
In the next video. Take care.
Are you losing your mojo?
I've never had it.